monitoring tab here and monitoring all the metrics, okay, one by one. I can just pin them into the single dashboard like this, and I can quickly monitor from here. Okay, I can just put this particular monitoring to the a big screen also, so wherein you will be having certain monitoring team, and they will be monitoring on a 24 by 7 level. Okay, so I can just make some few more customizations also, like here let's say I will change the theme here. Okay, if I change the theme to the black here, okay, you will be able to see the very good visualizations here. Okay, so generally when you keep the dashboard on the monitoring, okay, on a big screen, so we generally keep that block theme so that okay, it will looks too good, and it will and here you could see completely what is happening exactly. And here, okay, on the dashboard also we can do some more customizations. Okay, at this moment, okay, here we are seeing like all these metrics, right? So if you wanted to auto refresh this particular metrics, okay, for every 5 minutes, for every 10 minutes, okay, you can do that also. Let's say I wanted to have auto refresh for every 5 minutes. That means if it is CPU threshold is reaching certain percentage, it will keep refreshing this particular dashboard by default for every 5 minutes. And if at all, if you wanted to see the past how many hours metrics, okay, you can choose it from here. By default here we are seeing last 24 hours data, so I wanted to see last 30 minutes data here. Okay, I can just click on apply also, and let me click on save. Okay, can you see right now I'm able to see last 30 minutes data now. Okay, so this is the time which is giving. Okay, this is a VM timing, not our timing. Okay, we have created VMs into that particular time zone. Okay, so yes, somebody has a question. Please maximize your screen. Okay. Okay, let me do maximize. Okay, so here you could see whatever the time zone we have. Like what I'm saying is, okay, here we can do auto refresh for every 5 minutes, and you can see how many hours data that you wanted to see. Okay, we can choose it also, and additional to that, if you wanted to keep additional filters, okay, you can do that as well. And in apart from these, okay, we can also add one more, few more metrics, like let's say for now just I'll minimize. So later I'll show you. Let's say here, okay, I'll click on edit. When you click on edit, okay, here I could see some of the default metrics here. Okay, here you could see something. I wanted to see certain clock future or something. Okay, here you could see the clock symbol, right? So I wanted to see this clock symbol on a tab in a dashboard also. Let me choose this clock, and let me click on add. And this particular this clock tile will be added, and we can choose the time zone. So this particular dashboard metrics are on what time zone. Let's say since we are from India, let's go with the Indian time zone, and you can choose that format also. Let's go with the 12 hours for now. Let me click on done, and let me close it. And this tab also I can just simply drag and drop it also. Let's say I can just move it up. Okay, I can just go up, and I can keep it on the top of this particular uh, dashboard here, so that so if somebody comes also, okay, they will be able to easily identify all of these metrics are into this particular time zone. And if you observe, these particular metrics are default updating, because I have set this particular auto update feature for every 5 minutes. At the same time, okay, this is okay how we can see the time zone. Like if at all, if you wanted to customize this metric also, if I wanted to make it 2 by 1, it will be become small. So if I wanted to do 2 by 2, it will be becomes big. Same way, if I wanted to add one more, let's say I wanted to add some certain help, like support option from here. Let's see, do we have it here? Whatever we have, we can just add it there.
In this particular option like help and support. So wherein okay, if you face any issue, so we can directly approach to Microsoft by using this particular help and support option. So what I would say,
I will just drag it up. Okay, I'll put take it here. I'll move it up and I'll keep it here. And let me click on save. Okay, likewise, okay, we can make multiple, customizations on your monitoring dashboard. At this moment, if you see, okay, so, okay, in this particular monitoring tab, okay, I have taken additional to that, okay, timing and one more support. So let's say if I'm seeing certain issue, I can just click on this particular help and support, and I can go there and I can create a support request for the Microsoft. Okay, I can go with a new support request here, and I can just give the certain details for the request, and I can just raise a SR ticket, that is support request to the Microsoft. Right. So let me change the theme now. Let me go back to the white theme and go back to the dashboard. So this is how, okay, you can just pin the multiple metrics, okay, of your multiple resources, and you can just monitor on a regular 24% level. Okay, here I'm just showing you only for the VMs. Same as, okay, we can uh, pin the metrics for all the resources whatever we are going to discuss in upcoming sessions. Okay, maybe, okay, we can pin the metrics to the SQL DBAs. We can pin the metrics to the addition, maybe like storage accounts, networking, and all other stuff. Okay, we'll also see that. Okay, I still have a message here. So do we have an option to monitor Linux VM process ID in dashboard? Yeah, Vasi. Yeah, here, okay, for this, okay, maybe like we can have a separate concept called logaltic workspace. So within logaltic workspace, what we will do is, okay, we'll capture the all the logs, and if you wanted to have certain custom logs, whatever the logs that you see here, and for every 5 minutes, okay, if you see, it is auto refreshing. Okay, so if you wanted to have any custom logs to be captured and monitor, yes, we can do that. For that, okay, we have a separate concept called logaltic workspace. Probably we'll discuss that tomorrow. Okay, so for today, okay, so this is what, okay, so we are majorly discussing. So we are done with the monitoring, how to set up a monitoring user control monitor. Same way, okay, let's see how we can create the alerts now. Let's say I wanted to set up an alerts. So let's say these are the, production servers. And if somebody stop the VM, or somebody restart the VM, or somebody tries to delete the VM, I should be notified. Okay, so I need to be creating an alerts. So how to do that? Okay, let's see now. Okay. Thank you, Vasi. So let me go back to the Azure Monitor. So we can set up the alerts, okay, using Azure Monitor only. Okay, so this is the Azure Monitor tab again. And if you come to this particular main tab here under getting started, here just now we have used this particular monitoring section for the, to do some visualizations, right? So this is the one of the logaltic workspace concept we'll discuss tomorrow. So wherein you can achieve whatever the things that you wanted. And for now, let's go with the check about the alerts, how we can create alerts. So I have the VMs, right? So for this VM, okay, if somebody try to stop the VM, or somebody try to restart the VM, or somebody try to delete the VM, or if somebody do any like any operation, let's say just now yesterday we have seen, right, changing the size of the VM, or like resetting the password. If somebody does any activities, we have to immediately trigger an alert. So for that, okay, what we can do is, so let's come back here, just go to the create alert directly from here, just click on create an alert. So when you go with the create an alert here, so we can do it, okay, on a subscription level, like we can choose the multiple resources. But whereas when you go with on a specific VM level, here also we have an option called under monitoring. Okay, we have an option called alert. So when you go with this here, so here what happens is, okay, you will be choosing a specific resource, that is only one VM. But whereas here, okay, we have an option to create multiple resources. Let's say here I wanted to create a alert now, okay, for the CPU threshold. And while creating the alerts, so these are the three steps, okay, which are majorly included. So very important. One is scope is nothing but for which resource you wanted to create an alert. Let's say I have a VM here now. Okay, I'll go back to the overview page. So this is a VM, okay, that is Linux. VM1 is the virtual machine. So this VM is one of the scope. That means This VM is part of under subscription, under which resource group, under subscription, and what is the name of the VM. So that we will choose under scope. And second thing we'll be choosing the condition. So condition includes like what type of condition you wanted. Like if the VM restart if the VM is restarted, you wanted to get an alert. If the VM stopped, you wanted to get an alert. If the VM is deleted, you wanted to get an alert. If the VM is performed any administrative activities, okay, you have to to get an alert. So those kind of conditions you can choose it here. And we can also have a action group. So this action group could be like your personal email ID or maybe any DL, that is distribution list. So wherein a group of people will be notified using the DL. So we can have that action group here, and we can just click on create. Let's do it one by one now here. Let's choose the scope first. So let me click on select a resource. So when I click on a select a resource, it will display all the resources under my subscription. So here, okay, you can see all the resource type. So for now, I wanted to go with only virtual missions. Okay, I would say only virtual. And here I will change the virtual mission. And in my subscription, now it will show you only virtual mission list here. And I wanted to set up a CPU threshold for these two VMs. So that is virtual mission 1, that is VM01 and VM02. Okay, if you wanted to not choose the remaining also, you can choose, but for now let's go with only these two. Let me click on done. And if you see here, I have selected two VMs. And now let me choose the condition. Okay, as a scope I will be choosing the resources, and as a condition let's click on the add condition. And here, so when you go to the condition, here we have a two signal types. Okay, so one is like okay, so maybe since I have taken two resources, okay, it is not showing here. Let me remove one resource here. Okay, let's show you only one VM here. I have selected only one VM, so this VM is part of this subscription and this resource group. So let me click on add condition now. And now if you see as a signal type, okay, I can say metric and activity log. So this is very important. What is meant by metric, what is meant by activity log? So if you see here, so these are all the metrics. Okay, so like a CPU credits consumed, CPU credits remaining, data disk, IOPS consumed percentage, these are all the metrics. And if I go to the second tab here, okay, these are also metrics. So if I go to the third tab, from here I could see something like activity log. So let's see what is this metric, what is this activity log. Okay, if I go to the VM here, so I'm setting the monitoring for this VM, right? And here under monitoring, whatever we see here, these are all the metrics. Okay, let's say for example, okay, so here I could see the CPU threshold. Just now we went here, right? Let's say if I go to the monitoring, under monitoring, if I go to the metric, okay, so these are all the default metrics. Okay, so uh, default from the Microsoft. See, these are like system metrics. So in addition, okay, so here you could see activity log. You can see the option called activity, right? If somebody restart or start, okay, these are all will be captured under the activity. So whatever the activities we perform, okay, that will be we can generate as an activity log. Okay, so some of the operations like a CPU percentage and all will be coming under as a CPU metric. And some if you perform any activities, okay, so we can perform the activity log alerts also. Okay, so these are the two signal types, okay, which are which are we have. So by default, if you wanted to go with the only metrics, okay, you can choose the metric. And if at all you wanted to go with the activity log, so you can choose the activity log. So for now let's go with all. And let me show you for the CPU threshold. So if you wanted to search certain things, okay, you can just say CPU, and you will be able to see certain CPU related metrics here. I could say CPU percentage. And when I click on CPU percentage, okay, here it will give me the tab. So whereas how can I alert the logic? Let's say, okay, if the CPU threshold greater than, okay, let's say generally we'll give the 80% as a 90 percentage. Okay, generally we give like this. Let's say if I go to the VM, and if I under monitoring, let's go back to the VM. Let me go to the dashboard. Okay, how to do refresh here? See, sometimes okay, what happens is, okay, here since I'm using it. two tabs. Okay, so sometimes be able to see so how much CPU it is consuming. Okay, if you see on my local system, so I get the alerts here. Okay, so this I could see CPU percentage, and when I click on CPU percentage, okay, here it will give me the tab. So whereas how can I alert the logic? Let's say, okay, if the CPU threshold greater than, okay, let's say generally we'll give the 80 percent as a 90 percentage. Okay, generally we give like this. Let's say if I go to the VM, and if I under monitoring, let's go back to the VM. Let me go to the dashboard. Okay, how to do refresh here? See, sometimes okay, what happens is, okay, here since I'm using it two tabs, okay, so sometimes okay, these metrics will not be loaded default. So you have to do a refresh. So I'm talking about the Linux VM one, right? So here, okay, if you see the CPU percentage at this moment, okay, I have only uh, 0.5 percentage, that is 0.5 percentage. So, but in general, okay, we can keep maximum as a 80 or a 85, not beyond that. So if this particular CPU threshold, that is CPU consumption. CPU threshold is nothing but a CPU consumption. For example, let's say if I go to my task manager and my local system, and here I will be able to see so how much CPU it is consuming. Okay, if you see on my local system, so at this moment, okay, so I have a 21% or 17% CPU consumption. So whatever the applications that you are running, so based on the application load, okay, your CPU will be utilized. That is your RAM. CPU is nothing but like how much RAM it is utilizing. Okay, here you could see for my local system I'm showing at this moment, it is like varying from 17 to 40 at maximum. If it is like a more than that, okay, if you perform any operations like if you try to do some browsing or something, you will be getting a page got stuck and system got rebooted and please wait. Okay, those kind of errors you will get, right? So likewise same for the VM also. If you have hosted any application on your VM, and if it is like taking a consuming a too much CPU, okay, it should be you should have to notify it. For that, okay, we can create the alerts here. And let's say for now, okay, I'm just creating this particular alert just to create a CPU threshold as a maximum of 0.8 80 percentage, and you can just how frequently you want it to notify. If it is reaching 80 percentage, it will check for every 1 minute, and if it is for every 1 minute, if the CPU threshold is more than 80, okay, it will trigger an alert for every 5 minutes. Okay, so this is static. If you wanted to keep it dynamic also, okay, dynamic it will take a default and it will check the all as per the Microsoft standards. Okay, they will take it and they will notify you. Okay, but now also you're able to see my screen. Get the alerts here. And let's say for now, okay, I'm just creating this particular alert just to create a CPU threshold as a maximum of 0.8 80 percentage, and you can just how frequently you want it to notify. If it is reaching 80 percentage, it will check for every 1 minute, and if it is for every 1 minute, if the CPU threshold is more than 80, okay, it will trigger an alert for every 5 minutes. Okay, so this is static. If you wanted to keep it dynamic also, okay, dynamic it will take a default and it will check the all as per the Microsoft standards. Okay, they will take it and they will notify you. Okay, better we go always go with the static and we can click on done. And if you see here, so whenever I went with a scope where I have taken my which resource I wanted to create an alert, and second I have created a condition. What type of condition here? Okay, whenever my CPU average CPU threshold is reaches to 80 percentage, I will be triggered an alert. And by the way, these alerts are not free of cost. Okay, so you will be charged with a 10 cents. That is 10 paisa in US dollars. Okay, so for every each and every alert what you create, okay, it will be charged with a 10 cents, and we're done with the condition. Now let's go with the action. So under action, okay, I need to pass my which email ID I wanted to notify. So let me click on add action group here. And at this moment, I do not have any action group here. Okay, so this is something like application inside smart detection we have. So let's not go with this one. So let me create a new action group for now. So let me click on a new action group, and this action group I will be creating in a same resource group. And here I will just name this action group name as I'll say Linux action group 01. And if I go to the next tab, that is notification, okay, here I can see the notification type, how I wanted to be notified. Okay, the first thing I can go with the email Azure Resource Manager roles. That means whoever is having permissions on the subscription level, okay, they will be notified by default. Okay, so let's say, for example, I will choose a role. So people whoever is having a owner role on this particular subscription, they will be notified. This is one of the option, email Azure Resource Manager role. So let's say if I go with the email, okay, second option. So here it will give me the email, SMS message, push or voice. Okay, so I can send the notification in these different ways. Let's say if I wanted to give the email, let's say I will choose the email, and here I will say Azure, I'll give my email ID, and I'll, okay, so I can just know, if I click on okay, so my email ID will be notified. Let's say if I wanted to SMS, okay, I can choose the SMS and I can choose the country code. Let's say India is a 91, and I can go with a certain, uh, mobile number. I'll say I'll give my number. Okay, so I can choose the mobile number also, so that at the same time, okay, so alert will be triggered on my email as well as on my mobile. Or else if you wanted to give any voice message, okay, I can choose the voice also, and I can, this voice is only available for the US region, I guess. Okay, so voice notifications are currently available only for the US phone numbers, not for the any other. Okay, so by default, okay, it will be coming one, and you can see the some notification here, and you can provide your number, and you can just click on add, and whatever that alert is triggering, it will be getting all these three notifications: email, SMS, as well as voice. And if at all, if I wanted to go with the only email, let's go with the email for now. I'm just giving my email ID. Let me click on OK, and you can give some name here. I'll say Linux AG01 itself. And if you wanted to add one more email ID of anybody's, what you can do is, okay, you can add one more here, email, and here you have to pass the email. But this is not the best practice. Generally what we do is, so we'll be creating a DL is nothing but a distribution list. So under that particular distribution list, we can add multiple people, like maybe 20 people or 100 50 people, and the people who are part of that particular DL will be notified with the specific alert. Okay, so for now let's go with a single one. Let me go to the actions, and here you can see the action type. Okay, so this is something like a notifications, okay, we can perform to the email ID. In addition to that, okay, we can also send a actions, okay, using this particular Azure services. So for now, let's not discuss about this in detail. We'll see this later. Let's go to the tags. I'm not giving any tags. Let me review and create. Okay, let me create this action group now. Okay, for now I'm just showing you how to create a alerts only for the VM. But the remaining, okay, you can just do your practice. And what are the steps involved? Okay, I'm just showing you on a high level. And if you see here, I have what I have done for creating any alert. First, I have selected a scope. First, I went into the Azure Monitor. Under Azure Monitor, okay, I went into the alerts, and within here, so I have three steps involved here. One is like a selecting the scope. Scope is nothing but to which resource I wanted to create an alert. Second, I need to keep a condition. What type of alert I wanted to trigger. That condition I need to choose, and later I need to create a action. Okay, as part of action, okay, I have created an action group. So here I will say action name, alert name, like CPU percentage greater than 80. And if you wanted to give the same description, you can just simply copy paste, and you can give the CVRT, okay, whether it is a CVRT 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go with the default and create an alert. And as soon as you've given a your email ID, right, so you will be getting a notification from the Microsoft. Let's say how it will be. Okay, let's go to my another email. If you see here, so as soon as somebody added your email ID into any one of the action groups, you will be notified. If you see here, you are now in the Linux AG. I have created an action group called Linux AG1. right? If even in your organization also, if your email ID was added into any one of the action groups, okay, first you will be notified like this. Okay, and you can see the subscription ID and resource group name and the action group where it is created and all the information. Okay, so let's come back here, and now I have created an alert, right? So similarly, let's say I wanted to create another alert. So, okay, let's go to the alerts here. Okay, here, okay, so here you could see the list of alerts. Okay, if I go to the alerts, manage alerts, here I could see the whatever the alerts I have created. Let's say if I wanted to create another alert, this time let's say I wanted to create administrative alerts. Okay, so create an alert. Let me choose the same resource. I can go back directly from the VM also. Let's say I'll go to the VM. Let me show this way also. So this is my VM. So here, okay, I can just come down. I can click on this alerts tab from the monitoring, and here I could see, you know, this one alert is created for this VM, right? That's why here I could see the count as a one. So I can just say create a new alert. So by default now what happens is the scope is selected because I went into the resource, from there I have went into the alerts. So we don't need to choose the scope now. And condition, let's choose the condition. Okay, this time I wanted to go with the administrative activities. Okay, activity log. Here if you see, if I choose all administrative operations, all administrative operations includes if somebody start the VM, stop the VM, or change the size of the VM, all this will be included into this particular all administrative activities. Apart from this, if you wanted to perform any additional things like create an update, delete, start a virtual, restart. Okay, if you wanted to create any separate like uh, alert, okay, you can do that. But as a universal, let's go with the all administrative activities for now. That means if somebody perform any administrative activities, I will be notified. And the action, one action. Yeah. So here you could see this is the action group which we have created. That is Linux AG01, and let me click on OK. And let me give some name here. Let's say I'll say all administrative activities for Linux. You can give the VM name if at all if you wanted. Okay. So upon the creation, okay, this particular alert is activated. So let me click on create an alert. So now let me go ahead and validate this alert. Okay, whether I will be getting a alert or not. Okay, let me come back here. It is still creating an alert. Alert is created, not yet created. I think I have done it from here. Yeah, all administrative activities is successfully created. Great. Okay, so sometimes okay here, okay, if you do refresh, okay, it will be not shown immediately. To show the newly created alerts, it will take minimum 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, can you see now? Upon the doing refresh multiple times, okay, I'll be able to see the two alerts. Let's say, so for this VM I have created a alert, right? VM01. So what are the alert I have created? All the administrative activities. All the administrative activities includes restarting the VM, stopping the VM, deleting the VM, or changing any size of the VM, or changing the password. These are all comes under administrative activities only. Let's say now I wanted to restart the VM. Okay, let's see that. What particular activity log will will be notified at this moment. Okay, I did not see any. Okay, once we get any, getting an email also sometimes okay might take a 1 or 2 minutes. Let me close this window for avoid the confusion. Okay, let's do refresh. I have performed the restart, right? That activity is not captured here. Let's see. So I'm under activity log tab here. you can just unmute and you can speak. Okay. My voice is breaking. Oh, is it? Is it only for you or for the others also? Can others confirm? Oh, I'm really sorry. Okay. Uh, Maybe let's quickly check this particular alert. Then we'll wind up. Probably I am in still hospital. I just connected from my mobile network, so that could sorry for that. Let's do refresh. Okay, here. Okay, I'm just performing the refresh.
Until now, your screen
Let's
is
see.
not.
So is it screen is not visible?
Yeah,
Let me
it
do
got
one sec
hanged.
now. Okay, I'm sharing it again. Let's wait. I am done the resetting. Okay, maybe probably can check and confirm.
No, still I'm not able to see the screen.
How about the others? Can you confirm?
Now I can.
Okay, thanks. So if you see here, I have a activity which is captured. Okay, restarting the VM 3 minutes back. Okay, so since it is captured here, I should be getting a notification. If I go back here and if I do refresh on my Gmail, because okay, I have given my Gmail as a action group, right? So I should be getting an alert. Let's see that now. I'll go back here. And sometimes okay, getting an email might take some time. Okay, so here you could see this is the one of the action group alert I am getting. And let's keep do refresh. And I should be notified with a specific alert saying that your specific resources done some administrative activity. Okay, let's wait for to get an alert, so that okay, we're good with the today's concept, how we can set up the monitoring and alerts for your servers. Okay, same as okay, you can do for the remaining resource also, whatever we discussed. Okay, I will be covering okay while we discussing those topics. Okay, so in the meantime, let's say I'll stop the VM. Okay, so stopping the VM is also one of the activity, right? So I'll stop the VM and let's see. Yeah, so VM is deallocating now, and this activity should be captured in the under the activity log. So restarting is done, but I haven't seen any email yet. Let's wait. Sometimes okay, getting an email might take some time. Let me try to open the Gmail in a new tab. Fresh. What happens is sometimes okay, all the emails will become comes under in the same time. So let's wait for it. So if you're not getting it now, okay, we'll see. We'll check it tomorrow. Probably by the time we end up, okay, so we might receive the email. Let's do refresh. Okay, so fine. So let us validate this part okay tomorrow. Probably what you can do is for today. So just try to create these metrics and alerts for today, and so that you just get familiar with this something. Okay, don't forget to practice this setting up the monitoring and alerts. This is very very important. So you being as a Azure administrator, so once you have the infrastructure created, okay, you are responsible for setting up this particular alerts and monitoring. Yeah, and here we go. If you see here, I have a email. Okay, so important notice: Azure monitor alert for all administrative activities for this particular VM was activated. So just go to this VM, go to this alerts, and if you come down, okay, you can see all the details at what time it has done and all other stuff. If I come down here, you could see the activity alert, all administrative activities for this VM we have created, right? At what time it was happened and what is the category and operation name. Okay, here you could see virtual machine deallocated. That means we have stopped the VM. Okay, so we can see the resource ID also for which resource okay it has done. Okay, so like virtual missions, and this is the name of the virtual mission, and you can see who has done this activity also, like who is the caller. So this particular user has done this particular deactivate deallocation, right? So okay, here you see on the top, okay, I got one more. Okay, this is also something like deallocation only. Like right. So this is it for today. Okay, and I'm mainly an let's and I will send you the documentation. So try to practice it. Okay, if it queries on the WhatsApp it till the next day. But I'll still we're not able to resolve it. Okay, we'll see. Maybe I will contact you in person. We'll see that issue. Okay. So do you have any other questions? Yes, Arjun. Can you please unmute yourself and speak? Karthik and Arjun. Sorry, Arjun, I'm not able to hear you. Is it only for me or for others also?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So this is regarding to the dashboards. So
Okay.
let's just say I have like 500 VMs.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have pinned the dashboards from one VM, selecting a VM, you pin the dashboards. Now I have like
Correct.
500 dashboards. So is it possible to ping them at a bulk, like instead of going to every VM? Can I pin it
Okay.
all
So
at the
for
same time?
no, no. So further, okay, we have additional feature here. If at all, if you want to have a like so I can just come to this insights. Okay, I can go to this partition. So here, okay, we'll be performing it will be capturing all the metrics at once. That topic, okay, we'll see tomorrow how to do it. Use like 100 or 1,000 VM, how to capture those, and how to monitor. We'll see tomorrow.
And
Yep.
one more query. I have one more query. So
Yes.
while pinning the metrics to the dashboard, like you have used like two options, private and shared. Private is like only we can access those dashboards and we can see it. So
Yes.
through shared, is it like we
Exactly.
can provide the access, or is it given to particular people, or we have to provide the access?
No. What happens is, okay, this is my subscription at this moment. I have a particular dashboard at this moment. So if this particular another user, okay, who's having access to see any dashboards here. Okay, so if somebody wants to see, here you could see this is the private dashboard. If you wanted to available for the remaining I can just do a share here. Let's say let me validate this also. I log in using other credentials. I'll validate. I'll show you how the differences. Good question. I think it is navigating to the same window. Let's, yes, okay. So I just connected from my mobile network. So network is to load today. I'll connect with this account. This is the same subscription, but oh my god. Join with this particular account. What happens is if you go to the dashboard, he will be not able to see. So if somebody wants to see this particular entire dashboard, what I need to do is I need to share it. Okay. So when I see this particular dashboard name is coming, under which subscription you wanted to share, and you can see the location, and I can just click on publish. Okay, this particular dashboard will be visible to all the users. Okay, who are part of that particular uh, subscription, and you could see that everything has completed. Okay, so if you see here, this particular is dashboard refresh. Okay, so that if any user logs, click on the particular drop down, and they will be able to see that particular dashboard. Very simple. Maybe you can check, is that answer your question, Arjun? Maybe you're on mute. Okay, at least you can type. Okay, it's no point. So, any other questions? Atik, Dixit, Ravi. So, okay, so for another 2 days, we